Come along with me today as I clean our fish pond. What I'm going to use today is a deck brush and a pool skimmer. So every week I clean our fish pond, and this week I'm cleaning the filter here. We have what I consider two filters. We have one right there, which is basically the main filter. We got the water getting sucked up through that filter, going through the white pipe up there into the waterfall here, and inside that waterfall I have a bag full of what they're called bio balls, which acts as a secondary filtration system. So I'm going to start today by scrubbing the pond, and I've got my trusty kneeling pad here. So basically I do this once a week. I just take the deck brush and I scrub the inner lining of the pond just to make sure that there's no algae growing, and if there is, then I'm just loosening it up and letting the filter do its job. So I'm just basically going around the perimeter and the walls, agitating the water and making sure that the walls get scrubbed. I'll do the same thing to the bottom, and I give it a nice little scrub as the fishies avoid trouble. And sometimes if I feel like it, I'll give the filter a little bit of a scrub as well. I do the filter down below every other week. So last week I did the filter, the main filter, and this week, as I said, I'm doing that up there, which is kind of what I consider a secondary filter. And you'll see how dirty it can get when I pull it up. But I'm also going to give the rocks here a little bit of a scrub. You can get a little bit of algae buildup on these rocks. I'm just kind of doing a superficial scrub. A little bit of the tray as well. And I do have a smaller brush that can get a little bit of the crevices a little bit better, but I'm kind of feeling a little lazy today. Not really wanting to go into all that detail. Just kind of want to make this job quick and easy, because again, I do this once a week, and sometimes I feel like doing it, sometimes I don't. This happens to be one of those weeks where a quick scrub I think will be fine. So you're going to notice I have a main waterfall here, and then I have two oxygen bubbles over here. Basically this provides oxygen to different areas of the pond. Alright, so now I've got the inner lining of the pond scrubbed up. I'm going to take my pool skimmer, just kind of leave it right there. I'm going to pull out this bag. You can see all this fish poop that's collected up in here. And once I pull this bag out, put this in my bucket, you'll see all of this fish poop come out and get caught up in this little pool skimmer here. So I'll let that filter all that stuff out, and then I'll take this to the hose over here, hose this stuff down. So here's a look at the bag. while I'm here, I'm just going to open up the bag and show you what these bio balls look like. There they are. So just another filtration layer for the pond. Okay, and then all of this dirty water with all this fish poop can get used to water the plants. I'm going to do one more round. Once that's nice and rinsed, put it back in the little waterfall. There we go. My plants. Now I'm going to take this thing, see all that fish poop? There it goes. So if I do this consistently on a weekly basis, the pond doesn't get too dirty. When I first moved in, didn't quite know how often I had to clean the pond, and I left it there for a good month or so, and everything started turning green. Had to hire a professional pond cleaning guy to kind of show me the ropes. And so I've found that if I keep up with it at least once a week, if not once every other week, then the pond water stays nice and clear. So here we have something called Algae Fix, controls algae growth. I put a little cap full. So I'm gonna put a little bit of Algae Fix in there. And then got this prime water conditioner. Okay, and once I do that, I'm going to add some water. You can see there's a water level here that has gone down over the week, so I'm just going to add a little bit of water. And I take this opportunity to aerate the water. Fix this little rock here. I take this opportunity to aerate the water. This air bubble stuff isn't, it used to provide more bubbles, but for whatever reason it's not bubbling a lot. This one here bubbles a little bit more, but so I get oxygen over there in that corner of the pond, oxygen over here, and then oxygen over here. But once I add the water conditioner and the Algae Fix, you're supposed to add a certain amount of this stuff per certain amount of water. So now I'm going to add some water, and when I do, I'm going to make sure it bubbles and aerates the water. But before I do that, I'm going to connect this hose. It looks like it's about to come apart. So as I'm filling up the water, I'm watching the water levels just to make sure that I have sufficient water. And then of course the bubbles are aerating the pond, so it's gonna oxygenate the water for the fish. And some days if I don't feel like hitting the crevices of the rocks with a brush, I'll take the jet and I'll kind of get some water sprayed in between the little cracks there. And that kind of breaks up some of the buildup between the rocks there. Alright, that's a pretty good amount of water. Alright, so now I've got this automatic fish feeder that basically has intervals, 8 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, and 48 hours. I have this set to feed once a day, so I have it set to 24 hours. Basically, whenever you press the button, it'll turn. I'll show you. Here's a manual. It'll spin this thing, and then there's an opening here that I can open. The food will come out of here, and basically feed the fish during these intervals. I have it set around 11 a.m. So at 11 a.m. I've pushed this 24-hour button, and then it spun and fed the fish, and then 24 hours from that point it feeds the fish once more. So I fill this up once a week. We're getting low here, as you can see, so we're going to add some more food. And what I've got here is Tetra Pond Sticks, nutrition for goldfish and koi. You're going to notice that I have 2 fish in there. One of them is a goldfish and the other one is a koi. This big guy here is a koi fish. That one's a goldfish. When we moved into this house, we had all goldfish. I knew nothing about taking care of fish, and I thought they were koi fish. But the pond guy who I hired to help me clean the pond told me that koi fish have little whiskers. You can see like there's like a little mustache on this big guy here, and the other guy here doesn't have it. So they might look very similar, but one's a koi, one's a goldfish. Alright, so I'm just gonna get a small handful here. And if a couple of sticks fall in the water, that's fine. They'll eat it. They'll get a nice little snack. Alright, so this thing's kind of like on a clamp system. I'm just going to loosen this up and clamp it to my little rock here. Okay, now that's snug, it's not too tight. I'm going to open the little window here, and then now they can eat. It looks like they're hungry. You know, I'll give them a little snack here. So I'll push the button here, and you'll see this in action. I'll push the manual feed, and there it goes. That's how the automatic feeder works. Alright, so that is how I clean my pond once a week. Next week I will show you the other filter and all the stuff that gets involved with that. It's very similar, but there's some additional parts in there that need to get cleaned. But for the most part, that's my weekly Saturday activity. Alright, so that's it for now. Catch you guys on the next one.